GuideUSTV1. Find us on Flickr, flickr.com/photos/GuideUSTV, and add us on LinkedIn, linkedin.com/GuideUSTV. Get guided with Guide Us TV. Get connected with Guide Us TV.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, and we are live with you right now here on Guide Us TV, coming to you all the way from our studios here in Southern California. And with us today we have Abu Hafsah Claire, and I'm going to put him on right now. Abu Hafsah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How's everything?
Wa alaikum salam rahmatullah, and everything is alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, all by the permission of Almighty God, and we thank him for what we got, and we thank him for what we don't got.
MashaAllah.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Also, I'm going to introduce to you guys, this is Richard. Richard, Salamu Alaikum.
Alaikum salam, from beautiful, snowy Michigan.
Yes.
The weather outside's frightful, but fire so delightful.
Don't do it.
Oh, don't go
He
there.
did it.
Yeah, we're getting some snow today.
Woo.
Alhamdulillah. 3 to 6 inches and some sleet.
Yeah.
Can we just break into
Sleep.
song real quick? Can we just...
Wow. Abu Hafsah.
Yeah, maybe.
You're up there in Canada. How's the weather up there?
Well, I got a window. It's not snowing. Well, it's kind of snowing a little bit, but I'm sure we're going to get some snow. I'm traveling to Chicago tomorrow, so this should be interesting. Inshallah, everything goes.
Oh, that's
goes well.
right. You were telling me you're going to go to Chicago. Tell us a little bit about that before we get started. Go ahead. Where are you going to
Yeah,
go?
I'm going to Chicago for a little while.
All right. How long is a little while?
Good Lord, that's a good question. It shouldn't be too long, and it shouldn't be too short. It should be great, inshallah. Looking forward to it. Always love going to Chicago.
Are you going to have a chance to do any programs while you're there, or is this just a personal thing?
We'll see what happens. I mean, it is personal to a large degree, but I mean, I don't mind to do some stuff while I'm there. I have no problem with that.
Well, we have some friends up there in Chicago. I'm sure they would love to have you to come out and do some programs. Especially, I would like for you to kind of touch on that subject where you spent 4 months. Can you tell us a little bit about that right now?
That was Morocco. That was from September until roughly around the end or middle or thereabouts of January. Just kind of recharging my batteries and rememorizing some Quran and brushing up on my recitation. So that's what I was doing. And now we're back out here again, inshallah.
Is it true that you now almost have all of Baqarah memorized?
About 210 verses. No, it's not all of it, but it's close, inshallah. Getting closer, that's the goal.
What is 76 verses to go, something like that?
Yeah.
Well,
so
what
inshallah,
about?
we'll finish it. Hopefully by the end of the year. I hope to finish it by myself, inshallah.
Okay. Well, what about Juz Amma, the last part of the Quran? Do you already have all of that?
I don't have all of it. I probably do. It's hard to say really because I have to kind of go through it again. But it's like trying to catch memorizing the Quran. Anyone who's done it all is like trying to catch 6,000 birds in 6,000 cages.
6,000 birds in 6,000 cages.
So you have to kind of keep checking the doors of all of them to make sure none of your birds flew the coop.
Oh, I thought somebody once told me it was like trying to weigh frogs. As soon as you put some frogs on the scale, some jump off.
Well, yeah, it could be like that too. It's mashallah. It's a challenge to keep it. Memorizing it is one thing. Keeping it is another. So I probably do have that, but I have to go through it just to make sure.
Okay.
Most of my attention was focused on the beginning of the Quran, though. Anyway.
I appreciate what you went through, and I've never had the time to go out and do that. I wish. You've got more Quran than me now, alhamdulillah. If you've got Juz Amma and what is 3 juzes or 2.5 juz? What is it?
Baqarah is 2.5.
2.5 juz. And plus the Juz Amma, so you're ahead of me now. Uh-oh. Whoa, I got to get back to work, boy. All right. Abu Hafsah, I got a question for you. What do you think if we, our program is called Let's Talk About It, all right? So what do we want to talk about tonight? Do we want to open up the phone lines and let the new Muslims call in and talk about some of the things that new Muslims are facing? How about that idea?
We got a couple of new Muslims right now. I mean, we could do that, but we could also talk to some more. I mean, if you want, we could definitely.
Well, speaking of new Muslims,
there's a lot of different things that we go through that are unique.
Speaking of new Muslims, we have Richard. Let's go to Richard. Richard,
he's pretty
Kifer. Richard Kifer is with us. He's former Baptist, former Christian minister, actually a pastor of the church there, and we respectfully we say that the Christians are the closest to us in their teachings, in their what their actions are supposed to be, what our actions are supposed to be, very, very similar. And what we'd like to do right now is put you on the spot, if you don't mind, because you are a new Muslim. Richard, how long have you been a Muslim?
June 2018. So what that comes out to?
Year and a half.
A little. Year and a half and then some.
So young.
Year and a half.
Yeah,
I haven't changed.
Round it off.
Year and 3/4 actually.
There you go. All right. So what if we open the floor to you, and if you have anything, maybe you'd like to tell us about something that happened to you as a new Muslim, or something you'd like to ask about, or whatever you feel like you want to do.
Well, thank you. I am just bubbling here a little bit tonight.
You got that,
I
Abu
had
Hafsah,
the
he's
privilege.
bubbling.
Pardon? We were down at. I've been studying, Arabic, and getting, my alphabet all in working order. And I'm taking lessons on Monday, and then I go down on Saturdays, and to a masjid nearby, and a young man there who's very, very, very skilled in pronunciation is helping me with that as well. And while I was down there, the youth pastor, there's an old word, I'm sorry, the youth director, youth leader, came to me and said, because he knew me, knew I was new and knew I was Baptist, and he asked me if I would come and talk to a young lady that his wife was talking to. And I walked into the room, and here sat the youth director's wife, and across the table, about a 21-year-old young lady who was really, really considering Islam and just struggling with Christianity and the Baptists and just leaving all that.
She was a Baptist?
So the youth director thought I would.
Yeah, she was a Baptist?
Yes, she was a Baptist. So they brought me into Baptist to Baptist talk. And we understood language. We had the same dialect, and we were talking, and I just started asking her about where she was at and her questions, and let her ask questions. And I took a few minutes to tell her my story, how Allah just pushed me directed me from sign to sign to sign to sign to get me to the place where I would hear the message of Islam. And I was just telling her that, and I had a printed copy with me that I had written. So I said, you read this, you can see my whole story, how God directed me in such a wonderful way to bring me to Islam and to bring me into worship the one God. And so I put my name, my phone number, email. I said, if you got any questions at all, call me. But we had talked to her about an hour, me and the youth.
Get connected with Guidance TV.
And when I was over, I said, we're praying that Allah will just open your heart and guide you in such a way. And yesterday I got a text from this young lady, and she said, because she had read my story, she said, I can identify with the different steps that God brings you through to bring you to an understanding and to let go of some of those things that you're really reluctant to let go of. And she said, I've set a date for February 28th. I'm going to make Shahada at the masjid and become a Muslim. Alhamdulillah.
Wow. That's really great. MashaAllah. Abu Hafsah, what do you think about that story?
That's a good one. That's for sure. We've seen a lot of those over the years, mashallah.
Yeah.
You know, it's. I mean, it's. We've all kind of been through it. Anyone who's new and who takes that step and decides to worship the only one worthy of said worship and follow his messengers as they should be followed. The last of whom being, of course, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's a big step, and it's something that requires a lot of soul searching on the part of the person taking the step, and a lot of, I guess, empathy and a lot of support, both spiritually as well as even physically to a certain degree. I mean, some people go through a lot when they take their shahadas. They lose their entire families.
True story.
I mean, not only have they lost their religion that they grew up with, and Allah has replaced that, but they've lost it. Literally, some of them have lost their families, and it's huge for us to do that.
I want to go back to Richard now. Richard, did you experience any difficulties as you came into Islam?
Not at first. I kind of came in under the radar. I kind of just, I just didn't tell people much, and no, I didn't tell people anything, and just kind of kept it to myself. Just started, faithfully going to the masjid for prayer and for Jummah, and reading the Quran and starting to memorize and learning to pray and all those beginning things. And one Saturday morning, I just kind of woke up and I went, I'm just not going to do this anymore. I'm really proud of who I am and what God has done in my life. And so I went on Facebook and typed it out, I, Richard Kifer of sound mind and whatever, I have made the choice and, to embrace Islam. And then I kind of sat back, hit send, and just kind of waited to see what response I would get from a whole host of Christian friends that were on my Facebook. And I got dead silence. Not a person responded. And I only started to get response when I called the young man who had led me to Islam, and I said, I just posted this thing and nobody is saying a word. So he gets on the phone, obviously, and he makes a whole bunch of phone calls and calls all of his buddies at the masjid, and they all came on going, congratulations, yay, Rich, and way to go. And but other than that, I heard nothing for the longest time. And then I finally heard from a couple people who were very supportive. We've had some other difficulties since then. I think maybe people sometimes think, he's getting kind of old, slipping a little bit, and we'll just give him some time. He'll come back to the truth, And now I've gotten a couple nasty letters and emails and some loud silence, so to speak. And I've got a member of my own family that is very upset, and so we just have to deal with those and make dua for them, and hope that they will be able to see that truth as well sometime.
Yeah, I understand that. I think that I've been through some of that myself, especially the thing about people just being in dead silence. You think they're going to say something. At least one of the preachers that I knew, he came up with something one time and really nailed it. He said, we were in a public place, and he just told me this right after I made Shahada, I didn't even know the Fatiha yet. And we're standing there, I think it was like a flea market or something, and he started shouting at me. I just went up to him to talk to him, and he backed up. He started backing up so he could shout at me, and he was saying, you turned your back on Jesus, you turned your back on Jesus, you turned your back on Jesus, you're going to hell. And I was like, whoa, what was that all about?
Yeah. Well, I got an email like that. After all these years, your best friend, you've turned your back, and kind of accused of you're worshiping Allah and you're worshiping the wrong God because the real God, Jehovah, has a son. And so I'm off base, and um, it is what it is, and you know, not going back. That's for sure.
Yeah, I might make a lot of mistakes, but I don't want to make that mistake. That would be.
No, no, no. Well, I come back every Friday to Juma prayer, and my mind goes, if this is so wrong, how can a just and merciful God look down at all these messages filled with humble, prostrating people declaring the greatness of God? They're on their knees, they're on their face, and if that somehow is missing the mark, then I think, well, it's not missing the mark, but so to speak, it's like why God would surely respond to that kind of obedience and that kind of worship and submission to His will. And if that's not the right formula, then I don't know what it is.
Well, I think we should open up the phone line. What do you think about that?
Sure, sounds good.
All right, let's do that. I'm going to put up a phone number here, guys, so that all of you who are watching right now tonight. Now, if you're watching this in the future, and use this time to just share the message, okay? Just share the message. Here we go. There we are. 1-800-971-4383. 1-800-971-4383. Call that number and then be patient, because you're going to go through a scenario of things that are going to happen before it gets to us, and then I have to open up the phone line for it to go over the air. So be patient, but do call in right away. And while you're at it, be sure you turn down the volume. If you're watching this on your phone, that might not be a good way to do that. So if you can watch us on your TV or on your computer or on a separate phone, call us from another phone, because otherwise you'll get that background feedback through there and it'll blow your ears off and jam everything up. So 1-800-971-4383. Call us. Be patient with that now, because it takes time to get through to us. I'm asking you to just pick up the phone, give us a call, and talk about our subject tonight, which is about what happens when new Muslims accept Islam. All right? Right back to you, Richard.
Well, this young lady
we got a phone call. We got a phone call. Let's take that phone call. All right. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, we got. Let me switch it over here. We go. Assalamu Alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, Sheikh.
How are you, brother?
Alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah. We've got other folks calling in, but guys, when we have somebody on the line, there's not multiple lines, so please don't call in while we got somebody on the line, okay? Please don't do that, because it just jams up everything. Brother, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Okay. What's your name, brother?
Yusuf.
Ah, MashaAllah. Where are you calling from?
From Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay. Nashville. We're going to be there in Nashville, brother. We're going to be there. That's coming up the end of the month.
I can't wait, Sheikh. I hope we'll get the chance to meet each other.
Nashville. Wait a minute. No, wait a minute. Hold on.
That's the greenest state in the land of the free.
Yes, it is. There you go.
I can't wait to tell my brother that I got the chance to speak with you.
Ah, okay.
I just want to express that, I found Islam while I was incarcerated, but I studied the Bible, diligently while I was, locked away, and a neighbor had given me a Quran, and I kind of made the connection between the two. And once I was able to get out and do more research, I found your videos, and you've confirmed everything that I've read in the Bible, that I've come to a conclusion to. And I just want you to know that you hold a special place in my heart, Sheikh.
Well, I'm happy that you were able to find the way, and I'm happy that something that we did helped you out with that. I really appreciate you calling and telling us that. Brother, what is your name?
My mother named me Joseph, but most brothers call me Yusuf.
Okay, that's exactly what I did. My father's name was Joseph, so I said, I want that name. I love that name. They said, well, in Arabic, it's Yusuf, so that's why I picked up on that. Thank you so much for calling, brother. Thank you.
No problem. I hope that when you do come to Nashville, that we'll be able to maybe at least shake hands.
Yeah, I'm coming to Tennessee, but I can't remember if it's Memphis or Nashville that we're going to. It's I will. You know what? As we get closer to the time, at the end of the month, we'll be closer to that. Okay, so we'll be looking forward. We'll let everybody know about it. All right. Jazakallah khair. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much.
Alsalamu Alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, rahmatullah. Richard, that was our brother. He took the name Yusuf because that's how you pronounce it in Arabic. So we got another call coming in.
Okay.
I'm going to take this call too. Let's. All right. I have to push the button 1 and then. Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. كيف حالكم?
Alhamdulillah, Sheikh Yusuf. Do you recognize my voice?
Well, if you keep talking, I will.
If I say Mission Viejo.
Mission Viejo, I would say that this sounded like Ahmed Redwan.
You got right on target. Mabruk.
You're better than me at that. I can't ever do
Yes,
that.
sir.
Brother.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
I see you have a wonderful guest with you right now. I believe Brother Richard. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Brother Richard is with us, and we're happy to have him with us, too. Former Baptist minister, by the way.
I am very, very excited. I've been listening to both of you, and I'm very, very impressed. Alhamdulillah, Islam is growing, and as you will aware, Islam is the fastest religion in the world today. And
True story.
You heard about the new church we are purchasing in Beaumont.
Oh, yes, Beaumont, California, not Beaumont, Texas, by the way, guys.
Oh, yeah, and we have a group, brother and sister. They are currently in escrow. And as you guys were talking earlier, a lot of people they are reverting back to Islam. And also building is being converting besides the people are reverting to Islam. And also building is being converted to masjid. It's been great.
It is. Abu Hafsah, did you hear about this good news?
I'm just hearing about it now, and it's mashallah, it's great. I've been to California with you and other groups like multiple times. I've never been out there though.
So whenever, if we're able to pull this off and get this church to convert it, by the way, if everybody, you should know that I'm going to be going with Ahmed Redwan and some other brothers who are going to go over there on Saturday, and we're going to give the church a shahada.
Exactly, you said it right.
Good one. That'd be fun to watch.
I'm very, very excited for Saturday to see you, inshallah, and to work together and see if we could close escrow. We need everyone help and support. Islam, as everyone hear us and see on the internet, on television and newspaper, Islam Islam is the fastest religion in the world today. And I was doing some investigation and see when Islam is going to be the largest. I believe in another 20 or 30 years, we're going to find Islam will be the largest and the fastest, you know.
Inshallah. Well, we can know is that it's not the quantity, it's the quality, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Abu Hafsah, I'm asking Abu Hafsah for his input on that statement. What do you think about the numbers versus the quality? What do you think?
Well, I mean, even if there's one person on the planet worshiping Allah the way He ordered us to do it, then it is equal to the entire humanity, as Ibrahim alayhi salam was referred to as a nation by itself, because he was the only one at the time worshiping Allah as properly as he should have been worshipped. So even if it's one person, there was a scholar who used to say, Allahumma ja'alna min al-qalil, Allah place us amongst the minority or amongst the few. So people would ask him, why is that? And he would say, qalilan yatadhakkarun, like most people don't give thanks, most people don't believe, most people don't give Allah his rights. So he used to ask them, he said, Allahumma ja'alna min al-qalil, Allah place us amongst the few. It's not about the numbers at all. It's about the quality. The quality, not the quantity.
Yeah.
That's how it's always been in Islam.
Yeah. Ahmed, have you got any advice for the new Muslims about what they're going through, the difficulties, the trials, tribulations that they face? You got anything about that?
All of us, we've been going through hurdles, and there is ups and downs in this world. This is why this is the earth. I was saying exactly about khutbah, similar to what you were saying, Sheikh Yusuf, last Friday. And I was saying to the people in the khutbah, here we are, if a person wants to be a doctor or engineer or attorney or any high-paying job, in order for them to get the ultimate reward, what they have to do, they have to study hard. They have to leave their friends and study at night, and their parents have to pay money for their college, and they have to go through a test. And then after the test, if they pass the test, they get the permit, and then they can practice medicine or law or whatever. And if they do not pass, and then they have to do it again. The same thing heaven. So here, in order to go to heaven, we have to go through a test on earth. And we are going through a test right now, and whoever succeed in the end and get his certificate, and then you will go to heaven. And this is how life is, and this is how God built it. On the planet Earth, we are going through a test, and there's a lot of hurdles, a lot of difficulties. It's no different than getting your permit as a doctor or engineer. You have to go through a test. You have to go through a lot. And read quite a bit. And then after that, you get your certificate. What do you think?
Yeah, I was going to ask you a question. Do you know the Quran, Surah Ankabut, chapter 29, verses 2 and 3? You remember those two? Bismillah ar-Rahman, A'udhu billahi min shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alif Lam Mim. Ahasib bin nas an yutriku an yakulu amana. Do you think that you're going to be left alone just because you said we believe, and that you will not be put into ibtila, a test from Allah, as the people before you, min qablikum, as the people before you were put into this test? And surely Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is making it very clear here that everybody who comes into Islam will be tested, no doubt.
Oh, yes. And also there is another verse in the Holy Quran, and it goes like this: وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ وَنَقْصٍ مِّنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَنفُسِ وَالثَّمَرَاتِ وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ الَّذِينَ إِذَا أَصَابَتْهُم مُّصِيبَةٌ قَالُوا إِنَّا لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ راجعون أُولَٰئِكَ عَلَيْهِمْ صَلَوَاتٌ مِّن رَّبِّهِمْ وَجَنَّةٌ
ورحمة ورحمة.
What is mean? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he tells us he's going to test us with a lot of turbulence. And we're going to have like people are going to be dying, people are going to face difficulties, people is going to have less food than
you know what?
they have, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward the one who will have patience, and this is also from the Holy Quran.
Yes, actually, the verse that you're talking about, this is in Surah Baqarah, right?
Yes, yes.
And
yes.
you know who just memorized all of that? Let's let him show off a little bit. Not show off, but use some of that knowledge. Abu Hafsah, tell us about how did he do on his recitation, by the way?
A little speed bump at the end. أولئك عليهم صلوات من ربهم ورحمة وأولئك هم المهتدون. That's the ayah at the end. But the general concept was that you'll be tested with fear, with loss of wealth, loss of life, loss of property.
And give the good news to the ones who. But this is restricted. This is talking about give the good news, the bashar, to the ones who are what?
Who are patient.
Sabarin.
Who are patient.
Yeah, man. All right.
And this is the whole thing. So when it comes to us, when it comes to, I don't even know if I could be called a new Muslim anymore.
Yeah.
But when it comes to those who have newly embraced Islam, there will be a lot of tests for us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Richard, what do you think about this? Does that help you any to realize that everybody's got to go through it?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. That's just part of the whole process of being refined and being developed, and character building and things that God is trying to do in our lives usually comes through tests and difficulties. When everything's going well, we're kind of not as fine-tuned. But things are tough. Yeah, we need to depend upon Allah for everything that we have.
But see, one of the things that kind of goes by the wayside too with the new Muslims is that we are going to have tests, but the community is going to be tested by us because there are so many people.
Oh, yes, you hit the nail on the head with that one.
Now because I need to start shooting baskets now. The community could do so much more in terms of new Muslim development, and they don't. They use us as a popularity thing. They use us as a promo for the masjid, especially the white converts. I will say it that way. They use us as a promo. They use us to promote the fact that Islam is growing, but the community in large does not help us grow at all. We are largely left on our own.
Now, it's a good thing. It's a good thing you mentioned that, because I sure hope that nobody with a TV station tries to capitalize. Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
I've always said that. I've said that for 2 years. I've been fired from organizations for saying just that, and I don't have a problem with it again at all. That's not my deal. I'm good.
That has been my experience for 18 months, breaking into the masjid community. Alhamdulillah. It is,
especially when you're blind. You're double promo then.
Yeah.
You're white and you're blind. You're double promo at that point. You're just a tear-jerking violin solo by yourself at that point. Alhamdulillah.
Oh my goodness.
Tear-jerking violin solo by yourself. Ahmed, what do you think about all of this? What do you got for us on that?
Well, I'm glad we're chatting about this. You're talking about like the turbulence we're going through in this life, or which part? Because the line is being off and on. Off. I hear one word and get me up to date.
Well, yeah, I think that the main thing we're talking about tonight is what the new Muslims go through. Partly, I think the excitement of finding the truth. This is on the one hand, but then looking around and seeing the people that you were hoping you would be the model Muslims, and we already know what that's all about.
My response to this, Sheikh, they need not to look at the Muslim, look at the Holy Quran. What does the Quran say for a Muslim? There is good, excellent Muslims, and there is
I thought he was going to say the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know what I mean?
Can't do the whistle. I can't do the whistle. I can do it.
I know where I fit in. I know where I fit on the good, the bad, and the ugly. Oh, the wait a minute. What was that?
That was a bad connection.
The bad Let me hear that bad connection one more time. Go ahead. He's not going to do it again.
No, it's just a one-time deal. You missed it once, that's it. You watch the replay. Catch it on the replay.
All right. We're good to go on that. Ahmed, thank you so much for calling in. I can't wait to be with you on Saturday.
You're welcome, and I'm looking forward to see you, inshallah, Saturday, and we will talk Saturday morning, and I hope and pray that we can close escrow on that church, and we can convert that church into a masjid, inshallah.
Well, first things first, we got to give the church a shahada, proper shahada.
We will do that. Maybe if we have time, we can go pray 2 rak'ah on the land there.
That's another good
On
idea.
the ground there.
That's another good idea. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, we can pray 2 rak'ah there, and we do some adhan there before we close escrow. Inshallah, it will be full of barakah and blessing.
Perfect. Jazakallah khair, Ahmed. Thank you. Inshallah. Assalamu Alaikum rahmatullah. Richard, some words from your side about churches being converted to mosques, pastors being converted to Islam, and the Bible being replaced by the Quran. Certainly, after all the years that you've been in Christianity, I know I felt something, obviously, but what are your feelings about this?
Well, it is. My first thought was, let me just digress into what we were just talking about as far as people coming into Islam.
Go right ahead and digress away.
Yeah. And, there is what our brother from Toronto was talking about, just too big of a gap from Shahada Day to the next time you come to the masjid.
Yeah.
Shahada, man, everybody's patting you on the back, shaking hands, giving you hugs, giving you flowers, giving you kufis. Here's my phone number.
Flowers?
I did. I got flowers and a potted flower and a hat and all kinds of things. And this it was just wonderful. Everybody's just saying, we're here for you, yada, yada, yada. Man, the next Friday I walked in there and it was like, who in the world are you? Nobody said a word to me.
How about you, Abu Hafsah? Did you feel that?
I kind of barged in everywhere. I didn't really like my whole deal when it came to becoming Muslim is that I didn't care if the community accepted me or not. I was gonna be Muslim by any halal means necessary. So
all right,
I would call the Imam at midnight and ask him what time Fajr was, and I was always kind of I was always kind of there.
I'm sure he enjoyed that.
Well, it was Dr. Jamal Badawi. You could ask him if you want.
My teacher. You're talking about my very first teacher in Islam, Dr.
Yeah,
Jamal
he was
Badawi.
my teacher too. He was my very first one as well.
He made a mistake. I met him in Texas, and he made a big mistake. You know what he did?
What did he do?
He gave me his phone number.
Yeah.
Whoa, big mistake, man.
Yeah, he did that to me too. I had both numbers. I had the house number and I had the personal number as well. I had a bunch of numbers for him, and so I didn't really feel that because I never ever let them forget me. But I've heard about a lot of people going through that, where Shahada Day is where they welcome you and say goodbye to you at the same time because they don't know you anymore. I've heard a lot of that as well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Oh well, it took a while. I mean, we've been there a year and a half now, and we're slowly getting warmed up to the people, and they're looking at me. I think they finally probably gave up, going, well, I guess he's going to stay. He keeps coming back every Friday, so we may as well give him some salam and welcome him in. But it's a little rough.
But see, what's bad about that too, I'm sorry if interrupting, what's bad about that is that when they're trying to get the Shahada, they don't leave you alone. People call you every day and try to bring you to the masjid every day, and they're talking to you every day. It's almost like Sprint getting you to sign with them. It's like you sign up and then you're forgotten about as a customer later on, and it's unfortunate that we do things like that.
Whoa, take it easy, guys. Remember, we don't give free advertising over here.
Sorry. It's like a phone company that shall remain nameless.
Yeah, there you go.
Say it that way. I apologize for that.
Yeah,
I've been off air for a minute. I've been overseas.
I like that.
But it's like they do everything to get you to sign up, and then when you do sign up, they forget that you signed up until the bill comes when you have to pay.
But let's go back to leaving off the comparison there. Go ahead, Richard. Talk about it.
Well, just the, I call it the island syndrome. It's like you have taken a large step into Islam, and love it or not, a lot of Americans look at Muslims and Islam with suspect. They still see airplanes flying into the World Trade Center and terrorists strapped with weaponry, and it's still associated. It's misconception, but it's there. So you've kind of cut the ties, and you're hopped on this island called Shahada, and you're kind of hoping to jump into the next community, and you're stranded. You're just there on the island alone. And I'm sensing a lot of masjids do not have an assimilation program where people, join this group. We're going to get you in a study. We're going to start to help you. And, you just kind of, wander, kind of give you a Quran and a book about being Muslim and say, have at it.
But see, this is IERA, which is an organization out of the UK, and I know Sheikh Yusuf is very familiar with them. They said that, and I'm not sure where it came from, but they said that close to 70% of new shahadas actually leave Islam within the first year.
Actually, you mentioned IERA in England. In 2009, in the month of June, I spent the entire month of June traveling around England, Wales, Scotland, asking people to support this, and we got it started that way. And Dr. Jamal Bedawi was there for part of that. Dr. Bilal Phillips was there for part of that, and Hamza Yusuf, Hamza Zortzis was there with us, and Abdurrahim Green, Yusuf Chambers. We had so many.
All my buddies.
Yeah, we had, but I was the only one that actually stayed there for the whole month. I didn't want to go back and forth, all the way to USA, so I just hung around. And what we found was that actually there were people coming into Islam, but because of the treatment of the Muslims, they would abstain from returning back. They would, and not that they went back to Christianity, but they didn't want to come back to the masjid anymore. It was like, oh man, you guys treat me like garbage, So but not everybody. It wasn't.
No, of course, it's never all.
No, but it did happen though.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Just for comparison, though. The Christian church is by and large pretty good about that whole acceptance thing and getting you into a group and community and making you feel part. They'll take you out to dinner every other night.
Sure.
Make sure you're part of the thing and invite you, and they've got that down pretty good. They're good on that social end of things. And I know
this is what captivates a lot of people to them as well, is like the whole manners thing. If they can't treat you right, then they probably can't teach you right. And that's I learned something from Imam Siraj. He said if they can't treat you right, they can't teach you right. And that's a lot of times the Christians will go above and beyond when it comes to how they deal with newcomers, especially if those newcomers were Muslim at one point. I mean, that's
my
lottery right there, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Either that, or if somebody was in prison, or
Sure.
To
find you a
a
job.
famous
They'll
singer,
help you look for
athlete.
something.
Yeah.
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 We need to be more part of social awareness. I think it's very
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
Actual help instead
Well,
of feeding you a meal on your Shahada day and then forgetting about you afterwards. Actual concrete help where these brothers and the sisters especially go through that probably more so because they're visibly Muslim if they decide to cover. Need this
Yes.
kind of integration into the community where businesses would hire them if need be. Childcare is made available to them if need be. Shelters are made available. We could talk about this all week, I'm quite certain, because there's a lot of things that we need to brush up on as opposed to just giving someone a pamphlet.
Speaking about talking all week, guess what, guys? We've run out of time. We only got about 30 seconds left, so in that 30 seconds, I need to kind of let everybody know how important it is to support Guidance TV, guys, seriously, because in order for us to stay on the air, we need your support. Your du'as are the number one thing that we're asking for. Number one is the du'as with Allah. The second thing we're asking you to share this message, share the love, share the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with others so that they understand. And then finally, share also from your wealth to keep us online. And by the way, your zakat will work. With that, we say, stay guided with
Guide Us TV.
That's good. That's one more time. One more time, guys. Stay guided with
Guide Us TV.
There we go. All right. And by the way, guys, 10 years. And let's talk about that right now. Can you imagine? It's our 10th anniversary. Guide Us TV on the air for 10 years already. Wow. And we want to keep going and growing. And how you can do that, join us. Be part of what we are doing with Recite on TV, Bridge to Faith, Simple Reminders with Abu Hafsah, all of these great programs and more coming to you 24 hours a day, no commercials, no advertising, just pure Islam with Quran every hour, with reminders throughout the day what the Hadith teaches. These programs are the only collection coming to us here in America from America, and you can be part of it. Guide US TV. Keep it on. Keep it going. Keep it growing. Stay guided with Guide Us TV.